everybody. Welcome back to The Progenitor. This is the show where we go over a director's entire filmography, talking about themes, scenes, pacing, give a brief review, all within hopefully 15 to 30 minutes. I'm trying to keep it quick. So let's get started. Now, before we get into this next film, I just want to thank you guys. I took a few months off just to recuperate and think about the project itself and just hope that I'm having as much fun as I wanted to. And throughout all that time, I thought to myself, yeah, I got to keep doing this. And I started making a schedule for upcoming seasons and just thinking about all the directors that I love and want to talk about. And before, when we first started the podcast, I was really looking forward to doing Ridley Scott and Zack Snyder because they're both visual artists, visual stylists. But I'm kind of moving away from Zack Snyder right now, and I'm thinking of doing someone else, someone a little more ambitious and a little more doable with a shorter filmography. But let's get back to Ridley Scott because this next film, people hated it. But I gotta tell you, if you give it a shot and you take it for what it is, it's actually a very, very entertaining, light-hearted, and very, I would say, romantic film. And let's just say Ridley Scott doesn't do romance a lot, but when he does, and in this case, I think it's kind of a success, although it got panned the crap out of. So, yeah, as I said, it is a departure. This is one of the only films he made with no overt physical violence. And I would even say it's Ridley Scott's first foray into romantic comedy. But yeah, it's a fluffy travelogue, beautifully shot with great performance and an undeniable charm, is the way I saw it. And this next film, it is called A Good Year. And let's just get into it a little more. The French locations have a bunch of French ass names that I'm not even going to try, but there's a rail station in Avignon. There's long locations, or the London locations included the Albion, Riverside, Battersea, Broadgate, the Bluebird Cafe on King's Road, the Criterion Restaurant in Piccadilly Circus. So, it's a travelogue. It's talking about France and England, and we'll get into a little bit of the story in a little bit. But yeah, let's continue on with cast and crew. Let's talk about the crew. Director Ridley Scott, of course. Produced by Ridley Scott. Screenplay by Mark Klein. Now, Mark Klein worked on another movie called Mirror Mirror, and he worked on Serendipity. I never saw Serendipity, but I saw Mirror Mirror, and it's actually a really fun interpretation of the Sleeping. Is it Sleeping Beauty or is it Snow White? I forgot. I think it's Snow White actually. But basically, it's a Tarsum Singh song, very beautiful, and both of these films are considered romantic comedies in a sense. And the screenplay is based on a book by Peter Mayle. The music is by Mark Strittenfield. He composed The Gray, Killing Them Softly. So in this case, it's a little more, he's more of an atmospheric composer, but in this case, he's going with a light atmosphere, not too foreboding like you would expect from The Gray. So you're already seeing a little bit of ambition in terms of that. Cinematography is by Philippe Lesor. Now, this guy, he actually shot one of my favorite Wong Kar-wai films, my second favorite actually, The Grandmaster. Now, a lot of people don't like the English cut of The Grandmaster. I like both cuts. I've seen the Chinese version and the American version. They're just very different, and it's one of Wong Kar-wai's most beautiful films. I think it's one of Wong Kar-wai's underrated masterpieces that people need to rediscover. So give it a shot. If you can get the Chinese version, get the Chinese version. And then who else we got? Production design by Sonia Klaus. Now this is kind of a newer collaboration. Sonia Klaus did Terminator Dark Fate. So very different in terms of style. Dark Fate um, is actually a very visceral, very, what is that? Tactile film. It feels like they used a lot of actual sets and locations rather than CGI. That's why I actually enjoyed Dark Fate a little more than the other Terminators. But yeah, we'll continue. And as I mentioned before, Dodie Dorn was gonna return, and she's back, editing a good year. Dodie Dorn makes the cutting a little more sprightly, matches the music cues, matches the tempo of the entire film, and overall, it's just a really really fun mood tempo. And Dodie Dorn, she's just great. As for the cast, we've got Russell Crowe. Come on, everyone knows Russell Crowe, and Russell Crowe doesn't exactly equate with romantic comedy. So when you're going into this film, um, just give it a shot. He is really trying. He actually looks like he's having a lot of fun and smiling a lot. And he's actually putting on like a charming side to him, and I think he pulls it off greatly. We also have Albert Finney as Russell Crowe's uncle in this film. Albert Finney, great in a bunch of films, Miller's Crossing. Big Fish is one of my favorites of his and Tim Burton's films. And he's really great in Under the Volcano by John Huston. So if you've never seen that, check it out. We got Marion Cotillard, who's also in Big Fish, and in a bunch, she's really great. Public Enemy's Inception. You got Abby Cornish, Freddie Highmore, who I loved in Finding Neverland. You got Tom Hollander, who plays Russell Crowe's quote unquote best friend slash attorney slash real estate agent in this film, and he's just a lot of fun. He's really charismatic. You have Rafe Spall playing Russell Crowe's competitor in the Wall Street, but not just a competitor. Rafe Spall's character actually looks up to or tries to learn from Russell Crowe's character, and Russell Crowe's always trying to keep him down a peg because Russell Crowe's character is all about the competition. And finally, Archie Punjabi. She's great as Russell Crowe's executive assistant slash secretary slash, just a all round planner, and actually the person that keeps Russell Crowe's character's life turning. So I think that's very important. Now, Ridley Scott collaborations. This is Dodie Dorn's third film with Ridley Scott and second collaboration with Russell Crowe and Albert Finney. If you guys don't remember, Albert Finney is in The Duelist in a really quick cameo, but he's a lot of fun in that cameo. Now, Wife's Corner. She really enjoyed this film. And I think the main reason is just the tone. My wife loves these happy, more fluffy, more, picturesque, lovely films with very, very good mood, like with a very nice mood. So it was good for her to get out of like all this dark Ridley Scott violence and deep themes and get into something a little lighter, a little frothier. So yeah. Now let's get into themes. Empowered female characters. Ding ding ding. Marion Cotillard plays a cafe. Well, she helps manage a cafe in this film, basically, or maybe not manage, but she's a waitress, but she's a tough waitress, and she's really, really lovely. You have Abby Cornish, who's playing um, Albert Finney's long lost daughter, possibly daughter. Uh, so that's throughout the story. We can go into that in a little bit. Nature space is a hostile and uncontrollable environment. Ding ding ding. When Russell Crowe's character goes back to France and visits his uncle's vineyard, you see that it's in shambles. Basically, the house is old, the pool is completely drained, and the vineyard is practically dying. So pretty much at the beginning, Russell Crowe is trying to sell this estate. But throughout the film, he sees the charm in it. He sees what his uncle in the film saw in it. And he starts to fall in love with the place, fall in love with the location, and all that. Now, why is it why is nature space a hostile and uncontrollable environment? Well, because if you don't take care of it, it's going to die on you. And if the vineyards are dying, you're not going to make money off of it. And on top of that, he's in France. He doesn't really speak that much French. People are always trying to run over him. He's rented like this really miniature car that always almost gets in car crashes. So I think that's really fun. The only way to survive is to adapt. Yeah, that is the case. So Russell Crowe's character is actually like a Wall Street stockbroker, or what would you call that? Like an investment banker. He's pretty much an investment banker. He's a shark. He's always out for blood, always trying to take over. But when he gets to France, he adapts to the environment and realizes that there's been something missing in his life other than, the adrenaline he gets from buying, selling, and ripping off his opponents in the market. He finds that he can love something a little more than just money, and it blows everyone's minds. And it is kind of a stretch for this kind of film, but the fact that Ridley Scott is trying it, I think is really great. Age does not mean a thing. I'm not sure if this one comes to, because when you think about it, Albert Finney is Russell Crowe's uncle, and I think Russell Crowe's parents passed away, so Albert Finney's used to take care of him as a kid and helped raise him. And and age age is not a thing, but the wise uncle does bestow on Russell Crowe a lot of different lessons that Russell Crowe doesn't realize till later in his life. Now, another thing I want to bring up is Archie Punjabi, Russell Crowe's assistant. She is younger than him for sure, and she has got her shit together. Like, she is doing everything right, and helps control Russell Crowe's life in a way where he doesn't really see he's being manipulated, but he is being manipulated by her in a good way, where she's trying to get him to have a life. And I think that's really nice. Do not trust rich people. Like I said, Russell Crowe's character is, an investment banker. He's a shark. So he doesn't trust anyone, not even Rafe Spall, the guy who looks up to him. Because later in the film, you find out Rafe Spall is trying to just screw Russell Crowe's character over. So it's a really nice dichotomy. And this goes with I just did do not trust rich people. Violence don't solve a thing. Brains do. There's not that much violence in this film. There is like emotional violence in the sense that, there's unrequited love. So I'm not sure if this is a big thing, but I guess Russell Crowe's character is really smart and is able to maneuver through all the dealings with the real estate, and through all the family drama that you find, and especially with the guy who handles the vineyard for him. I think they have a lovely relationship. But yeah, we can get into that a little later. Happy wife, happy life. The vineyard owner has a wife, and they seem like they get along really well. And Russell Crowe meets Marion Cotillard, and you can definitely see a lot of chemistry, something that will build up throughout the film. And it turns out like Marion Cotillard's character is someone from his youth as well. So it's super romantic. Distrust of authority. And I'm going to put this with Money is Coveted. So these two go together. Again, Russell Crowe is a investment banker, so he doesn't trust anyone, and he covets money throughout the film until he learns that he actually loves this estate for all the great memories that he has. Battle of the Sexes, yeah, it's there. Russell Crowe versus Marion Cotillard, Russell Crowe versus Abby Cornish, and it's just a lot of fun. Tom Hollander versus Abby Cornish, you know. So it's fun. I'll get into the story description as well. Do not trust robots slash androids. None of that in this film. The afterlife slash death. The beginning of the film is basically Albert Finney passes away, which is what brings Russell Crowe's character to this French villa because he believes he inherited it. He doesn't realize that Abby Cornish might be Albert Finney's long lost daughter. So there's just it's a bit of death there, but through Albert Finney's death, Russell Crowe basically finds new life. So I think that's really interesting. Now, I've been going through all these details and I didn't even break down the story for you guys. So I'm going to do a really quick plot description. And so basically, Russell Crowe's character, he's a shark, he's an investment banker. One day he gets like a message that his uncle, played by Albert Finney, has passed away. So he has to go back to France where his uncle lived. And on his way back, he has all these flashback memories of when he was a child, played by Freddie Highmore, and with his uncle, learning tennis, learning how to drink wine and appreciate wine, even though he's like super young. So, and he's having all these memories. And there's also this drama because he believes he's Albert Finney's last descent or last relative, but Abby Cornish comes into the picture believing she's Albert Finney's long lost daughter from a woman he met in America. And you kind of find out Albert Finney is a Lothario, like he just plants his seed wherever he can, and he's enjoying his life. So there becomes a conflict of interest in terms of who actually will inherit this vineyard. And so you have some hijinks with that. Tom Hollander shows up because he's actually trying to help Russell Crowe sell it. And he decides to come out as well to meet Russell Crowe, to see the vineyard. And when he does that, he meets Abby Cornish and he kind of falls in love with her, gives her massages, gives her ice because she gets sunburned. And so, you know, a lot of plot. And while all this is going on, Russell Crowe is reintroduced to a girl that he didn't quite remember, but after a couple of choice encounters and meet cutes and dates, it's Marion Cotillard, and they realize that they had loved each other when they were children, and now they're back, and now they have emotions for each other again. And so it's just very lovely, very sweet. And at the end of the film, Russell Crowe is like, "Man, I really love this place, and I'd like to, if I can't keep it because it's not mine, it's my uncle's daughter's. Because spoiler alert, you find out she is his daughter. Then I can just come visit whenever I want, and I'm cool with her now." So during the film, they are not cool, but they ease up a little bit on, the tensions, and near the end, they are cool again. So yeah. Now, that is a brief description of the film. Now, normally we do shots. So I've got some shots. And like I said, after the next episode, we will probably be moving away from this initial shots. But yeah, at 1 minute 12 seconds, you got a tracking shot around Max when he's young. It's not even a tracking shot. It's just like a handheld and it goes around him, but it's a continual shot. I usually love those. At 13 minutes 21 seconds, Max, who is Russell Crowe, he arrives, and he sees that his secretary got him a smart car, like one of those really small cars. And then at 13 minutes 52 seconds, he's driving around the parking lot trying to get out of the rental area. And there's a slight goof that you can tell that the car was stopped and then goes, rather than him continually driving through. So that's a weird cut, actually. Then 31 minutes 20 seconds, he is playing on the diving board of his uncle's old pool, and he's too heavy because he's an adult now and no one has taken care of the pool. There's no water in it, and he jumps on it. He falls because it breaks, and he falls into the pool. And then at 33 minutes and 55 seconds, someone starts filling up the pool, and it's super high pressure and it hits him real hard. That's a really fun shot. And then yeah, it's just I don't know what to say, because it's just a fun, delightful film. Is it worth a viewing? I think all Ridley Scott films are worth a viewing because I love his films. It's definitely not in my top 10, but if you're down for a change in mood in terms of Ridley Scott, something fun, frothy, you have beautiful people, beautiful locations, and you want to see what Ridley Scott and Russell Crowe can do, this is definitely worth a view. And, I will say this. I do believe that Ridley Scott and Russell Crowe make a great team. They were great in Gladiator. They're a lot of fun in this. They're going to be in, there's, I think 3 more collaborations that we're going to talk about. The next one is amazing, and we'll get into that. But yeah, this shows both filmmaker and star having fun, and it's I keep saying it, but it's fun. It's not a stretch. Like, it's not Matchstick Men. He's not trying like a bunch of new techniques. He's just having fun. And the other thing is, Ridley Scott actually owns a villa in France, so he's like, fuck it, I just want to go to France and shoot a movie. And he is from London, or he is from England, or the UK. Sorry. He's from the UK, so he's allowed his time to shoot in his favorite places. So yeah. Okay, next up. The movie, I really like this movie. It's not in my top 10, but it's like rounding out like top 15. And it's a really great epic crime film. By me saying that, I'm guessing you guys know what I'm talking about. It is The Amazing American Gangster. So where can you find this? I'm not sure. All I know is I have the Blu-ray. Do I have the Blu-ray? No, I don't have the Blu-ray, but yes, I do have the Blu-ray. Sorry. I have the Blu-ray, and I'm thinking that you can maybe find it on Apple TV. Last I checked, it's not really streaming. You can buy it for $14.99 or rent it for $3.99. But go pick it up. It's a 2-hour 50 movie epic, and it is definitely worth a view. We will talk about it next week. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk next time. All right. Bye.